Here we go. So this is the first class. Just to outline how we're doing this is me at 6 a.m. and I am critiquing myself. So I'm going to talk you through what actually goes through my mind while I'm doing my own personal practice. We'll start with the forearm plank. Interlace your fingers. Pull your shoulders down away from ears. I'm going to talk in the third person if that's okay, because it is the inside of my mind. Moving on to around the world, interlace your fingers. The tips of your fingers point down and you cock the wrist up. Lock out your elbows. It's hard with glasses on. Now you're going to flip my hands over. Right hand is on top of left. Reach out to the right edge of the mat. Again, lock the top elbow, and that pulls the bottom arm through more. You can lean to the left. Lean into it if you want. Switch sides. Left hand's on top. Reach to the left edge. Maybe drop your head onto your shoulder for overpressure. Lock out the top elbow. And then bring your hands behind your head. Walk the elbows forward and together as much as you can. Take some long, deep breaths. You can even place your hands on your back and breathe into your hands. Feel your back spread as you breathe into your back ribs. Then moving to the side plank, elbow directly under shoulder, make a fist, press down, and then slide your fist towards the corner of your mat, and that gives external rotation at the shoulder. That's going to strengthen your shoulder girdle and your rotator cuff. My shoulder blades slide down my back like I'm putting them in my back pockets. Spread your fingers on the top hand. And then kiss your shoulder, and that'll strengthen your neck. The lounge lizard. Stack your hips, stack your feet, stack your knees, and then make sure you're in a straight line from your wrist to your hips to your ankles. Otherwise you won't feel it. So if you don't feel it, look down and make sure that you are in that alignment. And you can just rest your head and sag through the rib cage. You can tip the top hip forward a tiny bit too for a change. Falling onto your belly, lengthen out your legs, lay them back down. Draw your belly button in and up, press the pubic bone down. Your middle finger points straight ahead. You're pressing down through the hands and pulling towards my hips. Breathing cobra. You can do the breath however you want, whether it's inhaling up and exhaling down, or inhaling and pausing. As you rise, lift your high ribs, move towards the front of the mat and up, mid ribs towards the front of the mat and up, low ribs towards the front of the mat and up, and then reverse it. Low ribs towards the front and lower, mid ribs towards the front of the mat and lower, high ribs towards the front of the mat and lower as you pull back with your hands. Squeeze the elbows towards each other so that your arms graze the rib cage. It's about 60% in the back and maybe 40% in the arms. So this is an arm strengthener, but it's primarily a back strengthener. And to warm up the back for this next pose, which is the downward facing boat. Reach for your feet. Knees move towards each other. And just get a good quad stretch first before you come up. And then maybe lift the chest more, get the back bend in the back, lift the knees a little more, alternate, lower down when you feel that's enough. I like to grab my ankles. I can kick more into the arms. You should also feel this in the biceps. This is a huge bicep stretch. Belly in and up, pubic bone presses down. And that will force the curve into the upper back and away from the low back. I mean, the low back's going to get the curve no matter what. But we want this to evenly move through the spine. Lounge lizard on the other side. Make sure you're in a straight line, wrist, hip, ankle. If you don't feel this, you're probably not in a straight line. And then the top hip moves forward slightly so that it's either directly above the bottom hip, or you can move it forward a tiny bit if you like that stretch. Side plank on the other side. This sequence is excellent for chronic pain. This is a daily practice, a daily sequence. You can do other things throughout the day, but this is a really great starter. We're going to get every muscle. Rotator cuff on the bottom shoulder. Do you see how the arm is turned out? About 45 degrees. So the fist is not pointing straight ahead, it reaches towards the corner of the mat. Baby roll, right arm overhead, left arm up towards the sky. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, you're just gonna reach. You're rolling like a baby. And this is literally how babies do roll in a crib. This is from physical therapy, actually. This is not a Pilates. Pull the belly in. You want the transverse abdominis. Exhale as you lower down with a ha sound. Inhale. Exhale as you rise. Reach. The things you want to avoid is the banana shape. You want to stay in a straight line on this from your head to your heels. Switching sides. And I'm crossing my ankles because you'll have a tendency to dig with the, in this case, the right foot. You'll have a tendency to dig with the right heel to help pull you up. But if you cross your ankles, you can't do that. Exhale, pull, inhale. Exhale, lower the hip first, and then allow the vertebrae to sequentially come down one at a time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale at the top. Exhale, let the pelvis go down first, and then roll the spine down. Inhale. Exhale as you come up. If you get stuck, inhale with a sniff and continue that ha sound. That's going to help you because the ha sound automatically triggers the transverse abdominis, which is your deepest core muscle. And that's what helps stabilize your spine. So alternate knees. This is Pilates. Inhale. Exhale as you switch. So you always want to exhale on the hard part. Inhale. Exhale as you lower that leg down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. On the pauses, exhale on the rotation. And just hover the leg at the bottom. And then collapse. You could use a little more control into the bridge. So the feet are hip width apart, but turn your feet out slightly, and that's going to engage more of the gluteus maximus fibers, your big glute muscle. Lift your heels if you want to throw the calves in there. for some work. Interlace your fingers underneath you and tuck your shoulders under. And then once you find that place, you can let go of the hands. Now I'm adding alternate nostril breathing to this. You can leave it out if you want to. You close off the right nostril with your thumb. Inhale. Close off both nostrils using your ring finger and your thumb. Exhale, let go with the thumb. Inhale. Close them off and hold. Ring finger lets go. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Let go of the right thumb. Exhale. Inhale. Close them both off and hold for a second. Or you can do box breathing with this. It's really hard to hold the breath at the bottom while you're doing the bridge. So you might do triangle breathing. Inhale, exhale, hold. Exhale, inhale, hold. Teaser. Rolling up very slowly, one vertebra at a time. Inhale at the top. Exhale, tilt the pelvis back. Roll down one vertebra at a time. Hits the mat. Head is last. Inhale. Exhale, tuck the chin. One vertebra at a time comes off the mat. And you can see where I clunked down. There's a stiffness there. That's what that means. End at the top, cobbler or Baddha Konasana. The soles of the feet are together, knees out to the side and just lean forward. Drop your head. We're just warming up the hips for the next silver bullet, I call it, but it's a version of the pigeon by Anna Forrest. I'm going to put my left leg in front. My knee is at 90 degrees. My right leg goes around the back. The knee is still bent. It just goes back as far as my body allows. And then I'm going to lay over this front leg. It's a really nice hip stretch. I'm walking my elbows forward so that I don't prop myself up. And then I'm going to add another version to this, hooking the left elbow at the left arch. Lengthening the spine, rotating into this. Retracting my head. So retraction, this is protraction on the head, retraction. So make a double chin, and then you can pretend you're kissing your top shoulder. And that'll strengthen the rotators of the neck. If you have any neck pain, it's going to help with that. It might be hard at first. Third version, the thumb goes into the armpit and you hold the arm and then hook the right elbow at the top of the left knee. Lock out the left elbow, the one that's propping up, and just lean into that bottom shoulder and drop the head. Big deep breathing. And it's tough to breathe here because you are in this twisted position, but breathe into the upper chest. The gate. Bring your right foot in front of you, and then you're going to forehead to knee. Reach out to the left foot. And then, remember it's 6 a.m. when I do this. So I'm not going to go right into this deep stretch. So I'm taking my time a little bit to work my way into, that hammy is tight. So you got to work your way down. You want to end up with the knee down and the forehead touching the knee, because then that rounds the spine and you get this really great stretch to the low back, the opposite low back. You have to press the right sitting bone down towards the ground and round the spine, and then you're going to feel that right low back. That's the quadratus lumborum. That's responsible for a lot of back pain, so this is a great stretch for back pain. I'm going to switch sides. Left foot's in front now. kind of feeling those muscles, moving them around, going, okay, is this hamstring going to stretch very well? Reaching for the foot. So traditionally, that is the hand position for the foot. But you'll see me a lot of times, I'll change the hand position because I'm trying to get to different muscles in my back. And then I'm like, okay, this hamstring will stretch a little more. Let's get this down. But then I lose the head contact, the forehead to the knee. So just wait a second, let my torso come down more. My forehead will come closer. This takes a little time. You just got to wait it out. And you can see I changed my hand position. So now the hand is on top of the foot. The left hand is on top of the right foot because I'm going to feel that more in the left lat. So you know where you're tight. There's certain areas that you have trouble spots. And so in some of these, in these stretches, go after it. You don't have to do them exactly like I say, or I do them, or they're supposed to be done traditionally. You can play around with it, change the hand position, maybe change the pelvis position, and then you'll go, oh, that's the stretch for me. And you can always push pause on these and hang out there. Okay, the silver bullet on the other side. So now the right knee is at 90 degrees, and I'm laying over the shin. Walk the elbows forward, and then other side. On the next video, I'm going to do it facing the camera, so you'll get different versions of these in each one, okay? Because we'll do these same things every day. So you're hooking the right elbow on the right arch of the foot. If you can't reach the arch, which most people can't the first couple of weeks, it takes about 3 or 4 weeks, and then you'll be able to reach it. But you can put it on the floor close to the foot. Other side, the left thumb is going to go into the armpit, and you hold the arm, lock out the propped up, lock out the right elbow, because you want that right shoulder as high as you can possibly get it. So if you can walk the arm in close to your body, that's great. This is about where I'm at this morning. Remember, time of day is big, so this is as good as it gets for me at 6 a.m. And if I wasn't as flexible as I am, I would walk the hand out away from my body more, and that would ease it up. Not that I'm super flexible, because I'm not. I'm just a normal person. And I work all day, just like you do. So I get tight and I drive. I have an hour drive to work and an hour drive back. That's a lot of driving. And all these muscles get really tight. The low back gets really tight. And I can be prone to sciatica too with all that driving, and I fly a lot too. So this is necessary to keep my sciatica at bay, away from me. Rarely do I see it because I do these things to counter it. It's about maintenance. This is breath of fire. So Japanese sitting style stretches out the front of your shins, and then I'm going shh, 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 like I'm telling somebody to be quiet in a library, and I'm not happy about it. And I'm doing it fast. Shh, 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 and the belly pulls in. They've done a lot of research on the breath of fire. So I do about 25 here, and then I'm going to rest. I'm pausing, and then I'll start it again. You'll see this in the Bikram series. If you ever did hot yoga before, it's at the end of every Bikram hot yoga class. Breath of fire, great for the diaphragm muscle, which is your breathing muscle. Your diaphragm muscle is the only skeletal muscle that you can't live without. Like, you can live without your arm muscles, you can live without your whole arm, but you cannot live without the diaphragm muscle. The heart is not a skeletal muscle, it's a smooth muscle. But the diaphragm muscle pumps the lungs up and down. This is stretching the soleus, which is a calf muscle, but it's under the big bulky gastroc that you see on the outside. The only way you can stretch it is the knees are bent. So I'm squatting to get to that soleus, because that's going to affect your feet, foot pain, Achilles tendon pain, calf pain, knee pain, hip pain, back pain, it goes up the chain, but you got to get that soleus with the bent knee, heels pressing down towards the floor. You feel a really great stretch in the calf, then you've got it. Straightening the knees for a hamstring stretch. My knees are bent here because I can't get to a straight knee, obviously, but I will, hopefully. Nope, I'm keeping them. Okay, there we go. I've realized. Oh, my knees are bent. Okay, lock out to the knees, and then shift your hips forward directly over your ankles. You can see I'm trying, because when you do that, you'll want to scream. It's intense, super intense when you get the hips directly above the ankles and the knees locked, but that's the goal. And then sway to one side, and then sway to the other side. I'm got my fingertips on the floor, but you can hold your shins if you can't get down that far. And then some people get much further than that, and they can get their hands flat on the floor, whatever, doesn't matter. Slowly roll up through your spine, inhaling. Okay, we're going to move to the balance series. So balance is so important, and balance, flexibility, strength, balance, they're the same. They improve when you work on them, and they go away when you don't. So about strength. If you bodybuild, your muscles improve, and if you don't, it goes away. The bow. You grab your foot from the inside of the foot, absolutely not the outside. That has to be on the inside arch side of the foot. And that creates an external outward rotation at the shoulder, and that'll stretch the bicep. Moving into the eagle, right knee on top of left. When the right knee's on top, the right elbow's on the bottom. So right elbow under left, and then the backs of the hands together. And then if you can touch the palm, that's fine. With the right hand, you can touch the palm. And the elbows go up and down if you can. Trying to stack the shoulders above the hips. You can see here I'm a little bit forward. Both feet down, left knee on top of the right, left elbow under right, bend the elbows. If this is all you can do, that's fine. If you can bring the backs of the hands together, great. And if you can bring the left hand to touch the palm, that's even more twisty. And it'll grow. This will grow as you practice. And that's the point. And that's why you can do the same yoga poses and Pilates, yet that's why you can do them every day, is because these exercises grow with you each day. Other side, bow. So first thing I'm getting here is a quad stretch. You got to stretch the quad. So you got to touch the knees together, point the knee straight down, pull the belly in and up, point your tailbone straight down towards the floor. And don't let your belly move and your pelvis move, and then you got to kick the knee back if you can, or not. And as you kick into your hand, you'll feel your shoulder blade slides in towards your spine, and then that's going to stretch the serratus anterior, and that's a push-up muscle. And that causes a lot of shoulder pain when that thing's tight, and it's tight on most people because no one knows how to stretch it. So this is a warrior one, and I'm stretching the toes, with the foot in this position, and then just bending the knee. You can touch the knee all the way to the ground if you can. So the toes are curled under to stretch the toe flexors, and then dropping the knee down towards the mat, and then working on straightening it as you come up. Again, you can touch the knee all the way down to the mat if you want to. We want that quad stretch there as well. And then stepping out wide, like 3 to 4 feet. Use your mat for extended side angle. Now the back foot is turned in 45 degrees. See how you can see my toes? Because my foot is turned inward. And you need that to get the peroneals on the side of the leg, on the side of the calf. Very tough muscle group to stretch. It works hard all the time. Triangle, or a version of the triangle. It's kind of a forehead to knee triangle. And I'm just wiggling my pelvis around because if you wiggle it a certain way, you get the inner thigh. And if you wiggle it another way, you get the more hamstring. I'm just playing around with that. And then both feet are turned in, maybe not 45 degrees, maybe 30 degrees. Interlace behind your back and lift your hands away from your waistline, and that will stretch it makes the collarbone roll. So the collarbone doesn't do a lot, but clavicle, but it does have to roll when you bring your arm up. So it's stuck on a lot of people, and they get this jamming sensation that causes chronic pain in the shoulder. So just that encourages it to do its little dance, its little roll. Extended side angle on the other side. So your knee points straight ahead. You're going to keep watching these videos. You're going to get so many more cues. I've got like 1 million cues going on in my head, but I can only repeat certain ones to you in a certain amount of time because I'm thinking 20 different things while I'm in this pose. I'm thinking left ischial tube pulls in towards the back inner thigh, which is your sitting bone. And we'll talk about that. I'll talk about each one of these in the different videos. I'll just go hone right into that cue, and we'll talk about it during the pose. Now I'm kind of lifting the hands up. You get your hands off the floor, it becomes way more intense. So you might do it on the second one, and not the third, not the first, whatever you decide. And then I'm looking straight down at the floor and retracting my head. I'm making a double chin, and that strengthens the neck muscles. Then roll up through your spine. There's a lot of neck strengthening going on here if you have any kind of neck pain, back pain. And we'll move right into the tree. So my favorite version of the tree is this one, where the foot is not on the leg. I just rested on top of the other foot, but I lift it. That means the anterior tib, like the muscles on the front of the shin, are working and there I go, and put my foot on the leg. If you do put your foot on the leg, this is where you put it, at the calf. I've got my arch in the meat of my calf muscle. You never want to put it at your knee. You can shear the knee joint. But my favorite is here, because if you lose your balance, you just touch your toes down and lift them back up. You just catch yourself and come back. Get really, really tall through the top of your head. Ooh, you can see me get taller there. That's what I'm thinking in my head is I need to get a little taller. Draw the belly in and up. Other side. That wasn't a hand signal. That was a mosquito is biting me. Okay, so you can see I'm going to set myself up with the toe on the floor. And then when I find my balance, I'm going to lift the toes off of the floor by flexing the foot. And then just find a really nice balance that you can breathe with. If you lose your balance, just get back up again. We're going to add the Tai Chi in the next video, in about 4 or 5 videos. We're going to get this down first. So turn your palms up, shoulders down, Shavasana. So yoga is a prep for dead man's pose, Shavasana, this. And this is meditation. All that work is to get the fidgets out of your body and prepare you for this. So this is the payoff. Let your feet flop open, drop your jaw, release around your mouth. We'll just do 5 minutes, no more, no less. Let your throat soften, shoulders relax. Release down your arms all the way to your fingertips. Drop your jaw. Chest relaxes, belly softens, glutes spread like jelly, thighs let go, kneecaps float, calves release, feet surrender. Affirm the past does not exist. The future does not exist. The only true moment in time is this one. So be here. If your mind begins to roam, just pull it back to the present moment. You have nowhere to go and nowhere to be. I'm watching the time. Wiggling your toes and your fingers. Reach above your head and stretch. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, roll up to a seated position that you like. Placing your hands in front of your heart. You can stretch your fingers if you want to. Choose 3 blessings in your life and give thanks. As you exhale, lower your ego mind below your compassionate heart in reverence. Inhale as you rise. and we'll see you next time.